Hey guys, Allison here. Well, today I want to talk about, do you need to see a Catholic therapist if you're Catholic? What is the difference after all? Now, when I talk about Catholic therapists, I don't mean Catholics who also happen to be therapists, but Catholics who are firm in the faith, who understand their faith, and integrate it into the therapy process. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't mean that we're not proselytizing, we're not evangelizing, but we're recognizing a truth that the Catholic Church is the deposit of faith, all right? It teaches us about the human person. Some of the greatest psychologists out there, St. Thomas Aquinas, St. Augustine, there's so many, Fulton Sheen, so many saints and doctors of the church that really understand human nature, our relationship with God and our relationship with one another. So is it ethical? Let me ask that question. Is it ethical for a therapist to identify as a Catholic therapist? Now, we're taught in secular school, you check it at the door. You never bring religion in, right? You meet the client where they're at. Now, there's some truth to that. We always want to meet somebody where they're at. We're not there to necessarily, like I said, proselytize. However, it is a myth that a therapist goes in there as a blank slate and doesn't bring any values into the session. We have to. By law, we are required, we're mandated reporters. If it becomes obvious or we get information that a child or an elderly person is being abused in any way, we are mandated to report that to the authorities. Why is that? Because right now in society, we still share that belief, whether you're religious or secular, that that's not a good thing, that's not acceptable, that is a crime, and that needs to be reported. However, things that were not even thought about 20, 30 years ago have become normal and commonplace in society now. So just because right now society thinks that's a bad thing, they may not 10 years from now. But the Catholic faith always will believe that that's wrong. All right, we have time-tested values, principles that we live by, the Ten Commandments, church teaching. As Catholic therapists, we recognize that is the best plan and the best formula for living a happy and emotionally healthy life. We need to be connected with God. We need to be connected with He who made us. Just like when we go into therapy, if we have divisions with our parents or we've had abuse from parents and everything, obviously that is very, very damaging. It's also damaging to our relationship with God if we had a very bad father or mother. It's very hard to relate. And I think that's another part of Catholic therapy that is really helpful, that we can really see where those breaks have occurred, where, that difficulty, let's say, connecting to God, connecting to Jesus, connecting to the Blessed Mother. Those can be problematic when we've had trauma and abuse in our past. So the goal of therapy is healing. It's being able to guide our emotions effectively by reason. Right? And we think about what is the purpose of life. If we go back to the Baltimore Catechism, to know, love, and serve God, to be reasonably happy with Him here and supremely happy with Him in eternity. So if that's the goal of life, we need to bring that into the therapy process. It's really, really important. So if you are looking for a therapist, you need to go on to CatholicTherapist.com. And the reason is, we are not just Catholic in name only. We really do screen everybody to make sure that they are in line with church teaching, solid in the faith, and also professionally qualified. That's really important. Now, I am not at all suggesting that there are no good secular counselors out there or that there are no good Christian counselors out there. Not at all. There are some very wonderful people out there. One of the things that they have found is that like 90% or 93% of success in therapy is the relationship between the therapist and the client. Right, establishing that bond, establishing trust, and feeling heard, feeling understood, feeling affirmed is so, so important. So I'm not suggesting that there are no other good therapists out there. And I'm not suggesting that if you're not signed up on Catholic Therapists, you're not really a Catholic therapist. You might be, But like I said, we do screen everyone to make sure that they are in line with church teaching. And what we found over the years is there are a lot of Catholic people who are looking for therapists who share their faith, who aren't going to undermine it in therapy, sometimes in marriage counseling, particularly working with kids and adolescents. You want to make sure your therapist is sharing your values and aren't going to undermine you in any way, shape, or form. So again, is it ethical to identify as a Catholic therapist? I say yes, because those who say they're not bringing their values in, sure they are. And like I said, mandated reporters, but if they have strong feelings on different topics, it definitely can play out in therapy. So knowing who you're working with is really, really important. So I hope you find that helpful. If you are a Catholic therapist and you're not already signed up on CatholicTherapist.com, I invite you to, because it's a great way to connect with Catholics who are looking for exactly what you offer. And if you are looking for help, we have a large database. Every state, England, Scotland, we are really expanding. So I hope you join our network. God bless you.